pastel, pachinko. I just love the colors. I love how it looks. What else can I say? Yes, I love that it has this. There's like a gap. I don't know. Hey friends, it's Alex on the block, and today I'll be doing the mid-year book freak out tag. So if you guys don't know what this tag is about, it's essentially just looking back on your reading for the previous half of the year. So in this case, like June to January to July. So yeah, there's a series of questions and we're just gonna look through each of those questions. So as of right now, I have read 59 out of the 60 books that I would want to read this year. So I have a lot of books to choose from. So let's begin. The first question is the best book that you've read so far this year, and for me, there's two books and both of them have yellow covers, and the first is Yoke by Mary H.K. Choi, and Yoke is about these two sisters who are estranged and one of them gets cancer, and so they have to kind of depend on each other, and yeah, they revisit their relationship, their identity, and yeah, I really love this book. If you have seen my reading vlog, I have explained in that vlog that I didn't really like my previous experience with Mary H.K. Choi's book Permanent Record, I believe, so I was hesitant to read this, but I'm so glad that I did because now it is actually one of my ultimate favorite books of all time. So yes, definitely check that out. And although this book features Korean American representation, as you all know, I'm not Korean, I'm Filipino. Even though it's a different Asian nationality, I still really connected with the characters in the story and I really loved it so much. So I highly recommend you guys check it out. So yeah, and then as I said, there are two books. So the second book is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, and this book is so freaking good. So this one is a fantasy, an Asian fantasy, and it's about Zhu Chongba. Zhu, yes. It's about Zhu, and she has this destiny. There was a time when her destiny was read, and like she basically they told her that she would amount to nothing, but then her brother, the real Zhu Chongba, is destined for greatness, but then something happens and she basically has to become her brother, so she uses his identity for the rest of her life, and the book essentially looks at how she chases this great destiny that her brother was given. So yeah, it's like she's escaping her own fate by being her brother who has this great fate. Yes, it's so good, I promise. I don't know if it's out yet. Actually, wait a sec. Oh, it's coming out July 20th, 2021, and oh my gosh, I am so excited for a lot of people to read this because I got an arc and I can say that it is so freaking good. The next question is the best sequel that I've read so far, and for me it's Act Your Age Eve Brown. Although this isn't really a sequel per se, it's kind of like a companion novel in the Brown Sisters Companion series. So if you guys don't know what the Brown Sisters Companion series is about, essentially it's about the Brown sisters, and each book is about each sister. So the first is Chloe Brown, the second is Danny Brown, and the third is Eve Brown. And for me, Act Your Age Eve Brown is the funniest out of all of them. So these books got me into adult romance. It's just so fun, and there's a lot of layers to the story. It's not just about the love life, the love connection in each of the books. It's about a lot more about the main characters. So yeah, The third is a new release that I haven't read yet, and for this I picked Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and the second is The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I don't know how to pronounce their surname. I'm so sorry. But essentially, Malibu Rising is a book in the Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six universe. That's all I know about that. And there's a party. I don't really want to know a lot about it because I do know that there's a 90% chance that I'm going to like it, even if I don't like the premise yet. But I don't know what the premise is. And then The Maidens is a thriller mystery book by the author who wrote The Silent Patient, and I did enjoy reading The Silent Patient even though there's like mixed reviews, because some of the people who read that book, they said that the ending was quite predictable, but to me still very enjoyable. So I do want to read The Maidens, and I'm excited because it's dark academia themed. So yeah, the fourth question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I would have to pick How We Fall Apart and Jade Fire Gold. So those two, don't really know much about them, but I'm so excited for them. Yes. Number 5, biggest disappointment, and I would have to say Rent a Boyfriend. Because the premise was so good, it's so interesting. I thought it was going to be funny, I thought it was going to be super enjoyable, but it turned out that I didn't even finish it because I was so bored, and yeah, that's it. I'm still quite bitter that I spent that much time listening to the audiobook, and I literally don't care about any of the characters. Maybe it's just not for me. I just found it super boring. And also, A Court of Silver Flames. Yes, I am sorry. I really thought that it was going to be my favorite book for that month, like the month I read that book. But no. Oh my god. It was so damn long. Like, why did it have to be so long? I enjoyed like some parts of it. I think I enjoyed like the first parts of it, and then I enjoyed Nesta's relationship with the house. I thought that was adorable and fun. I did like the banter between Cassian and Nesta, but at the end, I think I give it 3 stars because I was so disappointed that I didn't like it because I saw a lot of people raving about it, and yeah, I didn't like it as much as I expected to. The next is Biggest Surprise, and for this one, I'm going to say Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Honestly, I know that this book is good. I know that a lot of people have said that craftsmanship-wise, it's a really good book, and I think it's one of those modern classics in Asian literature. But I didn't expect to like it that much. Like, it's quite long, it's quite thick, and it features 3 generations or 4 generations of this family. So I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but I did. It's so freaking good. So essentially, this book is about this girl. It starts with this girl named Sunja, and she gets pregnant, and she realizes, or like she discovers that the guy that she kind of fell in love with, I guess, that he has a family in Japan. And this book is set in both Korea and Japan during what years is it? Wait. Since 1910 to like 1980s, I believe. Yeah, 1980s. So it's like a whole family tree of them, and it's just so freaking good. It follows this family throughout the wars that Korea and Japan experiences or are involved in. It takes them through all the struggles that they've had through these decades of their lives. And honestly, it's just so freaking good. And you would have this kind of sense of what has happened or what it felt like to be in that kind of situation where you're not really in your own country, and like it's super just focuses on their struggles, and it was so freaking sad but also so freaking good. I can't recommend this book enough. The next question is favorite new author, and I don't really have an answer for this one. So yeah, let's move on. Number 8 is newest fictional crush. And honestly, I don't have a new fictional crush from the books that I've read, but I do have... Wait, fictional crush? Yeah, fictional crush. I do really like all the characters in Jujutsu Kaisen because I've been reading the manga as well, so I counted that to my reading. Yes. So yeah, that's my answer. All the characters in Jujutsu Kaisen. Number 9, newest favorite character. I don't really have one. Next question is book that made me cry, and I would have to say this book, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I didn't expect to cry, but I did at like this part of the book. It was just so sad to me. But if you guys don't know what this book is about, this is essentially BookTube's poster book for beautiful writing. So On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous is about this character, Little Dog, and it follows his life from childhood to adulthood, and it features like his familial relationships that have been affected by the Vietnam War. It features his sexuality. And yeah, it's just so freaking good. It's an X something. Wait, what? It's an epistolary novel, and it is semi-autobiographical. So this is the debut novel of a poet, and you can really see that the person who wrote this is a poet because of the beautiful writing. It has a lot of metaphors. It has a lot of these gorgeous words in here. So yeah, some parts are quite hard to understand, like what the author is trying to say, but you do need some brain cells for this one. But yeah, I finished it quite quick because it's just this much and so good. The next is books that made me happy, and I have a lot of them, so I'm just gonna read them from my laptop. And so the first is Nevermore. Nevermore is a middle grade series about Morrigan Crow. I was going to say Jupiter North, but it's about Morrigan Crow who gets whisked away to the magical land of Nevermore. And essentially there's this magical school and there's this magical trials, and it's just so good. The found family aspect in this book is just amazing, and the creativity of the author thinking about all of these magical things is just a really wholesome and fun read. And then the next one is Heartstopper. So Heartstopper is like a graphic novel series, and it features Nick and Charlie, who are these boys who fall in love, and it just features their life in school and with each other and their friends, and it's just so freaking good. You really will binge read this series. So yes. And then next, of course, is Jujutsu Kaisen manga. Of course, it's my favorite. Of course, it would give me so much happiness. So yes. And then I have 2 romance books, and the first one is You Deserve Each Other. So essentially, it's about this engaged couple who just hated each other, and they want the other to just cancel the wedding. But then things happen, and the wedding will it get cancelled? Will it not be cancelled? And then from Lukov with Love, which is an ice skater romance book. So good. Quite long. Was it? I think it felt long to me. Like some parts were long. There was just this one part where, like, very briefly, the author says that the main character is Filipino, and I'm like, what? Still so good, so good. And then the last one is The Starless Sea. Will I still get it from there? Anyway, The Starless Sea, because I really liked The Night Circus. I was so excited to read The Starless Sea, and when I finally got a copy, I read it, and it's so good. Yes. I think I'd have to reread The Night Circus before I can truly say which of them is better for me. Next is the most beautiful book that I've bought this year, and I would have to say still Pachinko. I just love the colors. I love how it looks. What else can I say? Yes, I love that it has this. There's like a gap. I don't know. And for ebook, of course, the cover of Yoke is freaking gorgeous, and the cover of You Deserve Sam is also so freaking good. The last is what books do I need to read this year, like by the end of the year, and I have a lot. And yeah, You've Reached Sam, I still haven't finished it. Malibu Rising, Jade Fire Gold, Ace of Spades, and yeah, there's a lot. If you want to see the full list of the books that I want to read, just go to my Goodreads. I'll link it down below, and just look at my 2021 anticipated reads shelf or my want to read shelf. So anyway, that was the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know down below which book you've read this year is your favorite so far, and thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Yes, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.